Boys, today we're answering some questions in our comment section on YouTube. Are you ready?
Born.
Let's do it.
Lego. All right, we're starting in hot here. All right, we got a question from somebody. What is the closest thing to a Cuban cigar here in the U.S.? Noah, you're first.
I'm going to go with a top 3 closest thing to a Cuban cigar here in the U.S. And in my opinion, Atabey is going to be the top closest thing to a Cuban you can get. Then you're going to have the Sereno Taino. I find that to be very Cuban-esque, and it was actually a nod to the original inhabitants of Cuba, so that makes sense. And the Rodriguez Reserva Privada.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, I'm going to do top 3 as well.
Oh, okay.
In no particular order. These are just 3 cigars that I would say get you very close, if not identical to that flavor profile. Warp's Don Ronaldo.
Agree.
I think that's very Cuban-esque. Atabey. Atabey is, they undisclosed their tobacco. I'm sure there's Cuban tobacco in there somewhere.
I don't know. They were jumping in the comments on that one Instagram post where we talked about saying that it's not, but
hey.
Connor doesn't think so.
Yeah. And then the Illusion one-off plus 53.
Oh, nice.
I think that's very Cuban-esque.
Yeah.
The story actually, that plus 53, the U.S. is like national code, if you want to call it, is plus 1, obviously. Cuba's is plus 53.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
I think that it, not just because of that story or the marketing or anything, I really do believe that that's a very Cuban-esque profile. Medium body, creamy, nutty, baking spice, easy to smoke.
Yeah. I'll go 3. Atabey.
Yep.
Warped La Colmena.
Oh, okay.
Warped Don Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And then I would give, I agree with Taino. I even think there's a couple others that, and honestly, I didn't really start to feel this way strongly, especially about the Don Ronaldo, until our boy Mike Laskowicz gave me one of those Cuban custom Lanceros.
Yeah.
And I was like, this kind of tastes like the Don Ronaldo.
Yeah.
A little more spicy, a little more umami, like not just toast and that like bready hay thing. It was like, it was pretty intense.
Had some funk to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that with the Ronaldo, with that Criollo Dominican wrapper.
I'd add one more to the list, too, and just say it's a pretty popular cigar in certain circles, the Caldwell Eastern Standard. And if I had to pick, I know I didn't say it in that order, but probably Taino Eastern Standard in like the order of most Cuban-esque, and then Atabey after that. Because Atabey is a great cigar, and it smokes like a Cuban construction-wise and flavor-wise, except doesn't have that zip.
Yes, it's more mild. I would agree.
Yeah. Which, before we move on, we got to shout out Mike while we're here.
Yeah.
Mike, I know you'll probably be watching. He's a dude that comes in here. He's become a regular, and he's become a friend to us, I would say.
He's taught me a lot about cigars.
Right. And he comes in, he brings us one-off custom Cuban farm rolls and just like real Cubans. Because we talked about it last podcast, there's an art to procuring and aging real Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
Real Cubans.
Yeah.
And Mike is always so generous with how he treats us with that kind of stuff.
And just smokes really cool brands that he introduces us to that, then somehow make it into our humidor. But
he taught
shout out
me
to you, Mike. Thank you, dude.
Yeah. Taught me about Ezra Zion, which is one of my now favorite brands.
Except for that. I didn't like that one you gave me, but we'll move on.
That's fair.
We move on. Thank you for the question. All right. Next question from Bilbo T. Baggins.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Is there something similar to a Melanio? We just did a video on this, and my answer is Alec Bradley Safe Keepings. I think is very, very similar. And I don't say that in a way like very, very like it's a copy of it. I just think it like profile-wise, body-wise, it's got the same like vintagey taste. There's no strength, but it's just like you just know you're smoking well-aged fermented tobacco. That's how I feel about Melanio and how I feel about the AB Safe Keepings.
Regular Melanio or Maduro? I'm more of a Maduro smoker.
This just says Melanio, but you take it to the Maduro.
So I'm going to throw out Fratello Classico. Classico?
Yeah, the red?
The red box. fantastic cigar.
Yes.
Super chocolatey, coffee, just that roasty, toasty goodness. Nice, kind of a charred wood note in the middle that really complements everything else. It's just such a distinct chocolate note that I don't think a lot of cigars actually have, where it's more like a dry, dusty cocoa that the Melanio has.
I think that comes from the age.
Somebody's doing something right somewhere.
I have no facts on saying this. Whenever you get those older, well-aged, darker cigars, it gets this like powdery chocolate, and it's not like syrupy or
it's
like
rich,
spicy
powder.
Chocolate. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I gush on this brand all the time. I don't care. Call me a sellout. I don't care.
I'm not gonna call you a sellout.
Sin Compromiso. I think it's a superior Melanio V Maduro, but I think that the general flavor, like cocoa,
Bro, that cigar is so much more bodied and amped up than
that's what I'm
Melanio.
saying. I think it's a superior version, but the core notes of the flavor profile.
Well, I'm not saying it's superior. Or less inferior. I just think it's more. There's just way more happening.
More rich. Yeah.
Like somebody might like the Melanio better because they don't want
all that
the big strength and flavor that Syncomp has. But anyway, continue. I'm not trying to.
No. It just the core is very similar.
Yes.
Cocoa dusted almonds, rich sweet earth in like a really good way. Minimal spice, just like you were just saying, well aged fermented tobacco.
Yeah.
Just good quality leaf.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And
both of those that you said, Fratello and Syncomp, made at Hoya, de Nicaragua. So maybe there's a similarity there. I don't know. All right, I can't read this guy's name on here. I think it says Bonsai Brian. Bonsai Brian said, I respect your guys' opinions.
Oh, joy.
However,
with
the dual comma, great punctuation, Bonsai Brian, not liking the Gordo size, madness.
You want to go first?
Everybody's got their own palate. Like I said, whenever I smoke a Gordo, one, it's not comfortable in my hand. It's not a good mouthfeel. I just don't enjoy that size particularly. And then secondly, the combustion, it's different. When you smoke smaller ring gauge cigars and bigger ring gauge cigars, you're introducing more air to it. And for me, bigger ring gauges, especially at 60, you just flatten out the profile of a cigar. And if you enjoy maybe a more muted profile or something like that, or that's just the size you like, because, we got guys that come in here all the time that gravitate towards Gordos because they burn for a long time and they want to sit, they want to have a few drinks, they want to hang with their friends, it's just not for everyone. And so, Bonsai Brian, smoke all the Gordos up because I'm going to leave them for you.
I don't think there's a right and a wrong size. There's no right and wrong in anything in cigars.
Except for like a Gordo being the wrong size.
It's just to me.
Just kidding, Brian.
Just kidding.
I just don't like it.
It's just me neither. Neither does he. But that's okay. It's just I just talked about it on the last podcast that we just shot. I've heard just from people in the industry and owners of companies and blenders from factories, when a real master blender, when a owner of a company wants to try the flavor profile of a blend, they're not going to ask for a Gordo. They're not going to ask for a Toro.
Yeah.
They want to smoke that thing in a Corona. They want to smoke it in a Corona Gorda or a Lancero.
Or Robusto.
Yeah. And it's like, if you just think about it, and I'll quote Robert Caldwell again of Caldwell Cigars, smoking a Gordo is like an Americano or a black drip coffee. You taste the coffee, but it's literally watered down just because they're like, with a Gordo, there's so much more air than tobacco. But with a Corona or a Lancero, the flavor 9.5 times out of 10 is going to be significantly more intense.
And you get more of that wrapper ratio.
Yeah.
That's to me like also the biggest thing. Like
for sure.
Anything's wrapper to filler ratio. When you fill out a cigar and you get that Gordo size, what's really going on there? Because the blend gets tweaked to keep that blend true to the blend in different sizes.
Yeah.
And so you're just getting a whole lot more Seco and a lot more air. I don't know that to be a fact, but it would seem like how else would you just fatten that cigar up and keep the same profile, right? It's just not my favorite.
Gordos just kind of mute profiles to me, but that's the beauty of different Vitolas. And honestly, some brands, their blends sing in higher, bigger ring gauges. Like Plasencia. Plasencia's cigars for the most part, like the Alma del Campo, that gray and white band. My favorite Vitola of that cigar is the 6x60.
Really?
Yeah, but that's the only experience I've had that way. Most of the time, Lancero or Corona. If I walk into a humidor, I'm going to try and find the smallest ring gauge I can if I want to try a new cigar. I'll let it rest there. That's what I would say. But I'm not right for that. I'm not wrong for that. And Bonsai Brian, you're not right or wrong either. You smoke what you like.
There you go. You can be right for you. All right, this person asked, I just had my first cigar where I'm like, damn, I really don't like it. It's the Monte Cristo Espada. What's your opinion on this stick? Also, the cigar has like 100 bands on it, which is annoying.
I think the Espada's branding's beautiful, actually.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
It's memorable.
Yeah.
I haven't smoked it, though.
I've never smoked the Espada either, but I've smoked Monte Cristo.
Is that AJ?
I'm not 100%
I
sure
think
at all.
it is. I think it is.
Have you had it?
I have not.
Dude, if you don't like it, toss that sucker and go get a new one.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time with bad cigars
Yeah.
that you don't like. There's plenty good ones.
Too many good cigars to smoke bad ones.
Unpopular opinion. This is from PXPI Cam. Unpopular opinion, the Liga line is a bit overrated.
Oh, I wouldn't say that's
You're
unpopular,
not unpopular
bro.
here.
Yeah. It is 100% overrated.
Which I got to take here.
Okay.
I just got to get this off my chest. Because Liga does this. Davidoff does this. They do this thing where they're like, you can't buy our cigars that actually would sell or that people like until you sell all of our other stuff that doesn't sell.
From a retailer's perspective.
From a retailer's perspective, like, man, we got a lot of people that come in here and want Liga. Fine, I do think it's overrated. I
Yeah.
think we all agree.
Smoke a
100%.
Tabernacle instead.
But people like Ligas and they want them. People like Davidoff. I like Davidoff too, and they want them in here.
Yeah.
And you got to play this like song and dance. Like,
Yeah.
Well, you got to buy 8,000 boxes
Literally.
of this cigar that isn't going to sell as well potentially, or that you don't like or you don't want to carry, but that you can't have our other stuff. And I'm like, why? Can somebody answer me why it's this way?
Yeah.
Just don't make the cigars nobody's buying.
Yeah.
And just make the good ones that people want.
Yeah. Yeah, spend $5,000 on these things, so we send you 2 boxes of Ligas.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is coming from the e-commerce world. That was never really a thing because we'd just be like, we had big order volume quantities. We could just buy what we wanted. When we started the lounge, they're like, oh, you can't even see the price list to these.
It's
And
ridiculous.
Like, bro, what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
If you think Ligas are overrated, come in here and talk to us, and I'll give you a whole list of Liga killers.
We're making a sampler.
Oh,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
When this drops, sampler on the CreeksideCigarCo.com website by Noah of Liga Killers. Get them while they're hot. And we'll take the sampler down when Drew Estate sells us Liga.
that's awesome.
Last one. From Joseph Tatum, 1936. If you're actually born in 1936 and dropping a commie on our YouTube, let's go, baby.
Props to you. Yeah.
I respect the time and craftsmanship that goes into a cigar, but no one talks about the worst cigar they've had. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, man.
All right, well, I'll go first. The worst cigar that I have ever had in my entire life was a Mark Twain memoir. And it was a long time ago, and it was just absolute, like, the bottom of a shoe and burnt dog hair with, like, some dirty leaves in there.
Ugh.
It's a cheaper cigar, to be all the way fair. It's not something that's ever going to wow anybody. It was disgusting. That's the one that I talked about before, I think, when we talked about when it's time to put a cigar down. How many times do you keep puffing it and try it before you decide whether or not you really like it? And that thing was 3, 4. I think I got it maybe an inch down and just chucked it straight into a river.
Oh. All right. So it's a Plasencia.
Okay.
It was a long time. I mean, not like a super long time ago. It was probably 4 years ago.
Okay.
The Reserva Original.
Really? Worst cigar you've ever had? Or one of?
Without, like, no, not one of,
oh.
like the worst.
Wow.
It was, so when that blend first came out, it was called the Organica Original. And kind of the shtick or the marketing behind it was they were using tobacco plants without pesticides, without anything, they just let the plant grow organically without adding or anything.
Which is kind of cool, in my opinion.
It's a cool concept for sure.
I don't hate that idea.
No, it's it's an awesome concept. And then they went through a rebrand because they went through some lawsuit and then changed it to Reserva Original. But I smoked that cigar, and I was like, maybe there's a reason they put pesticides on tobacco plants. Like, this cigar is so bad. I'm
telling RFK on you.
It was
pesticide. The pesticide prince. Pesticide Pilcher.
Literally.
My boy likes the tobacco with the glyphosate.
Yes.
All right, hit up Bayer. Connor's going to invent some new tobacco.
This cigar is good. Can I get a hit of some glyphosate to spray all over this dog? Glyphosate?
Smoke that cigar and tell me if you like it, please.
All right, bro.
But no, it was just, it tasted, and this is the only tasting note I could honestly tell you. It tasted like the way a horse barn smells. It was just like this barnyardy, fecal, manure-y, black dyed mulch.
I'm out on it. I
like
don't want to smoke
funky. And I was like, give me some of that glyphosate. I was like, maybe there's a reason that they grow tobacco plants in a controlled environment. Pesticide or not, there's a reason that all the greats grow the plants the way they do.
Yeah,
and they tried this experiment, and they still sell it. We still sell that cigar. It's still in production.
Come on in and get it.
Try it. It just wasn't for me. How about you?
I appreciate the take. I'm literally trying to remember the name of the brand, and I, for the life of me, can't. It was like Southern something, not Southern Draw. Not Southern Draw. Let me just be
Have you had
clear.
the Rosa Sharon?
Yes, it's excellent.
It's so good.
It was something South or Southern something. It was U.S. Puro, but not a broadleaf Puro. Not a Pennsylvania broadleaf Puro. All tobacco grown in Georgia, Kentucky, and one other southern state. I made it like 4 puffs, and I was like, I'm going to like literally throw up if I have to take another.
That's the
I'll
worst.
find the name of it, and if I find it before we post this video, we'll put it here. That was the worst cigar I've ever smoked. And the other cigar I don't like, but it's an infused cigar, so whatever. It's the Crazy Alice. I tried to smoke that one time.
The what?
The Crazy Alice. It's like it's part of the Fat Bomb.
Deadwood. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people love them, but for me, I just didn't like the cigar.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are mine. Hey, we want more comments.
More
and
questions.
We'll answer more of your questions. You got questions, you got takes, you're mad at us, you're happy with us. Bring it. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Thanks for the honesty, boys.
Yeah.
Until next time, smoking good company. Peace.